Hey everyone, it's Lisa, and today is, what is today? This is our vacation. John's playing golf, and I think it's Wednesday. And I just did a video on this hair tutorial, so I just curled it. So I don't like to brush it completely out, so I just kind of messed it up a little bit. So it's maybe a little bit curlier than usual. But I was thinking, I've had this on my mind, and I've had several of you ask me to talk about menopause, and it's not one of those subjects that I just have ever really loved to talk about, because I felt like, for one thing, it's weird how you really just don't know what's going on. And you know, things were happening, and I knew that I was at that age. I'm going to be 50 in September 1st, and my mom went through menopause really early, so I knew that it was time. I knew I wasn't going to be someone that was, 55 or whatever. But what would happen is something would happen, and then I would ask, like my doctor, my gynecologist, is this hormonal? Is this part of me getting to this age? And they would, test my hormones. I would have normal levels, and they would say no. And so that would, I don't know, it's like you want an answer. But I am now officially through menopause. I think I have not had a period. I think May was 1 year. So I'm officially through, and I feel like now I can talk to you about, I was going to do 10 of my crazy menopause symptoms, but I actually had 11. So I've got them written down, and a lot of these are just the same ones that you'll read. But I thought, it's good to kind of hear from other people, different things. And the first one is, I still suffer with this, an itchy, very sensitive chest, like the skin right here on my chest. If, I went to the beach I've been at the beach, but I laid out and walked on the beach, was it day before yesterday? Yeah, day before yesterday. And just last night, where are they? I don't have my... Hey Chanel, hey baby. Yeah, right here. I've got a tanner on my chest too. I always put factor, I don't even know, I use that Elta MD. I think it's factor 50. But for some reason, I still get a lot of sun on my chest. And I broke out with these little bumps that are kind of like sun poisoning on my chest, nowhere else. And, okay, sit down. And so that is something, and it doesn't just have to be sun. It can be any type of body lotion, any type of shower gel, and it can be, this is the weird thing, it can be something that you have used your whole life. It can be something like Dove, or just some lotion like Jergens is something I've used my whole life. And all of a sudden, your chest will break out, and it will get itchy and just freak out on you. You might even think, oh, I can't use that brush, I can't wear that bra or something like that. But I'm telling you, it was so sensitive that almost anything could break it out. Angry, and matter of fact, these little sun bumps, I kind of deserve them because I went for a long walk and all that kind of stuff out in the heat. And but I haven't had anything in a long time. And that is something that I do want to tell you that will make you feel better, because I don't remember anybody really saying this very much, is a lot of the symptoms that I experienced. Now, most of them I still have, but a lot of them that I experienced in the beginning when I was just starting the perimenopause whole, time, a lot of them are not as bad and have gone away. So when I get to those, I'll tell you. Okay, thinning hair. I have never had crazy thick hair. I've got, I would say, average hair. And I did notice that around my hairline and stuff, I had thinning. And then that is right around when one of my subscribers sent me the Monate. And I started using it. I didn't even know what it was when I showed it to you guys. And a lot of you were like, oh my gosh, a lot of people wrote me and said, you've got to try that. People love it, this and that. So I was like, oh gosh, okay. So I started using it. And right around that time, I think I had just gotten on my Obagi skincare again, the New Derm system. So I can remember clear as day, I was looking at my skin in the magnifying mirror, and I started seeing fresh, new hair around my hairline. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, this can't be real. And then, I mean, within, I don't know, you guys have been here with me throughout the whole thing. Within weeks, I had like all this new hair. Now, Monate is controversial. I think a lot of it is because it's a multi-level marketing, but I have never, ever, ever done anything like that. And I believe in it so much that I signed up for it. And I'm not as active with it now because I feel like I'm so busy with YouTube. I feel like it's not fair to, really try to get a lot of people to sell under me because I feel like I can't give my all. But I believe it. I am a believer. You can look at my hair before I started using Monate, and you can look at it now. There is something about it that cleans out the hair follicles, and it keeps your hair from getting that buildup. And you can see that before Monate and after, how much shinier and healthier my hair is. And I've had the same hairstylist the whole time. So I think that helped, but you may want to try something different. I had actually tried biotin. I can't remember which ones I tried, and this may be my imagination, but I felt like they made me hungry. I was just hungry when I tried those. And then I read somewhere that could be a side effect, and I can't remember which ones they were. Seems like they were that like I'm picturing a hummingbird or something. But anyway, so that is what I did about that, and I have been happy ever since. I don't just use all Monate, I do alternate. Like today I use the Colleen Rothschild, but I do think it's good. My dad still loves it, John still loves it, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so hair thinning was definitely one of them. Hip and joint pain and pain all over. Okay, this is something I'm still battling with, and every doctor, the gynecologist, my regular doctor, every doctor I go to says this is not because of my hormones, but I just can't believe that it can't be. And you can read that it is. So, you have to do your own, what's going on with your body. But it is frustrating, you know what I mean? Because you want an answer. Because if they don't give you that gratification, it seems like you just still keep on looking for an answer. But anyway, so joint pain. Okay, a lot of these are going to lead up to what I've been doing different lately. And I'm going to save that for another video because I want to kind of wrap up my weight loss. Today I've lost 12 pounds in the last, I don't know how long. You guys remember when I was just doing this and or just getting back on the wagon. And so I want to do a video on weight loss in menopause because it is very, very different. And some other things will go with it, including hip and joint pain and all over joint pain, including like my wrist, cranky neck, which I've been told that's stress. I can kind of see that because when it was going on the most was around Christmas. So anyway, okay, so balance. I have worn high heels for a long time. Since, I would say 30 years have worn some type of heel. And if you have been with me, you remember when I tripped and fell at the beach. I still have a scar right here. I have a scar on my leg. And I think I'd kind of pushed it that day. I had walked around the loop twice. And I remember thinking before I fell, I could barely feel my legs. It was like I was on autopilot. They were just walking, but I couldn't feel them. And then when I went to step up on the sidewalk, I caught, and then I had my cell phone in my hand, and I just, scrubbed along the sidewalk. But that happened, and then another day, John and I were going somewhere, and it was raining, and he pulled up on the driveway kind of as close as he could to the garage to, get me in, and I opened his truck door. It was like a bad chain of events. We were kind of up on a hill. I had on my Stuart Weitzman nude clogs that I had worn for years, and my, it was funny. My heel rolled over and I just went, I fell all out in the in the driveway, and it was wet. It was raining. I think we were going somewhere. Seems like we were going somewhere kind of special. I don't know what it was, but I remember like getting up and him looking over at me in the truck, and you know how you don't want to laugh at somebody, but it's just dying. That's how he was, and we both laughed. But those two things happened, and then this is something like everything I can kind of give an answer for. But I had sprayed some Febreze, or not Febreze, but that wrinkle releaser stuff on a shirt in the laundry room, and I didn't realize. Be careful with this. When you spray it on the shirt, it still goes on the floor, and we have tile in the kitchen and in the laundry room. So I come right back over in the, to go in the laundry room, and I took up just a trip and then fell out in the laundry room. And I remember John making the biggest deal. You've been falling lately. You need to get this. You need to get a CAT scan and all this stuff. So I don't know if those three things were just a coincidence, but I am not someone who has ever been clumsy or falls a lot, So I just wanted to put that just in case that has happened with you. It just seemed like, I don't know if that would be my equilibrium or what it was, my joints, I don't know. But that was just one of the weird things that I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel, out of balance or anything anymore. And it was a psychological thing too, because it kind of scared me, it kind of scared me like, I don't know, I don't want to twist my ankle, but I still want to wear high heels. So I quit wearing, and I still don't wear these. Those little thin wedges are the worst. I can remember turning my ankle when I was pregnant with Will. Brooke wanted to go to Taco Bell, and so we went, and I was trying to keep up with her. I was big pregnant, and I twisted my ankle with some wedges on and hit my tummy. And but I was fine. Anyway, so there goes that. Okay, heavy periods. Right before, I would say the year before I started having really, really sporadic periods, I started getting what I call high school periods. You remember those periods where you had to go change, like between classes? That's how it was. It was just like full on big periods. And I was like, this is so weird. But then, the more I read about it and everything, that's pretty normal. So next on my list after heavy periods, IBS. Okay, I'm going to go into this a little bit more with, weight. I'm going to do a weight loss video soon, because weight loss during menopause deserves a whole extra video to itself, especially with me. But I have always had like a very sensitive stomach. Not really. There were a few things that I knew. I don't know. Looking back, I thought it was a few things that I would eat, but I really think most of the time it was, how your head and your brain and your gut are so connected, and it would be like in nervous times, or just they say gut wrenched or go with your gut or something like that. It's your mind does control so much of how your tummy feels and everything, and so a lot of times it would just be stuff like that. But in the past couple years, you guys know I've had many issues. I don't want to go on and on about it, but I've been to many doctors and I've tried many different things. I'm not lactose intolerant. They've done lots of blood work. I'm not, what is the other one? I'm not, oh my gosh, the big thing. I can't remember it right now. I keep wanting to say something else. Hold on. I'm not gluten intolerant, and I have done like the FODMAP diet, and so when I get into what I eat and my weight loss and everything, I'll get a little bit more into that. But just be aware that when your hormones start going crazy like this, it will affect, your eating and how you, what you can eat, when, and how you feel. So definitely a major thing. And they never really have, even to this day, none of the doctors will tell me, like if I say, you think it has something to do with menopause? No, they'll say it doesn't. So I don't know, you can go from there. Okay, along with that is major heartburn and gas. Now I don't mean like gas. I mean, maybe I should say indigestion or something, because I mean like air getting in your ribs and getting up in your shoulders and just killing you. I mean, just to the point where I would have to walk around and just get it out. You know what I mean? That happened a few times, but more often than that is just like really, really bad stomach aches. And I haven't had to take a Tums or a Pepto-Bismol or an Alka-Seltzer in so long, but for years now, I have not left this house without Tums in my car, in my purse. Definitely, any trip I would go on, I would have them in my bag. And I can remember like waking up in the middle of the night and having to take Tums or Pepto-Bismol because my stomach would burn so bad. So a lot of that, I think, is food sensitivities that just all of a sudden started happening. And, you know, it just, your hormones control so much. It is just all about the hormones, really. Okay, so hot flashes. And if you are anywhere near menopause, perimenopause, or whatever, you know about hot flashes. My mom says she doesn't remember hardly any hot flashes, and she went through, you know, menopause early. Well, I say early. I think she said 45. And, but I can remember, I mean, years ago, waking up just like, I mean, like someone had taken a hot cast iron skillet, just hot, and thrown raw chicken skin or something in there. I mean, I would just wake up like I had been thrown down on the bed. Like you could tell I had not moved all night long, and it was just like a sweat ring all over my body, my whole nightgown, right down to my thongs. I would have to get up and take it all off. And then I would hate to even get back in the bed, you know, wash everything the next day, have to wash my hair all the time. And so that was a major sign that this was all coming. And it took a couple years for me to finally get to this point. But now I don't really have that happen very much anymore. Now the only thing that will really happen to me is if I get in a weird situation. Like the last time I can remember really having one of those hot flashes out of my house, you know, out in public, was when I go out of town. Like I can remember being with Sheila one time. We were shopping, and I said, "Oh my God." I can't remember. We were standing in line, a long line somewhere. Maybe it was Zara or something. And we were just standing there, and I was like, oh my God, I just felt it. It's the weirdest feeling. And I mean, I just thought I was going to just explode. And my face gets red. And my grandmother used to have hot flashes all the time, even when she was older. And sometimes she would come to the door, and I mean, she would be just dripping with sweat because she would be having hot flashes and not running the air condition like she should, you know. So anyway, hot flashes, definitely. I never took anything for them. I've never taken, John ordered me some kind of something off of one of his vitamin shops. I've never really taken anything for them. I tried to just kind of like I knew it was natural, so I just got through it. Okay, then the next one I have is can't sleep, but I'm tired all the time. Now, I've told you guys I love a nap. 3 o'clock is my favorite nap time. But I don't like to have to nap if I don't have time. You know what I mean? But it had gotten to the point where I had to take a nap. And so it was like I couldn't go to sleep at night. Then I would wake up early, and so I would have to take a nap. So I would say, okay, I need to make myself skip the nap so that I can sleep tonight. Then I would be so tired and grouchy that I could barely get through, from 7 o'clock on. And I would have to help with, Will with homework or, just be around my family. So that happened for a long time. And that might not be as much with everyone because I'm a napper. I have always loved naps. I can remember when I was little, I would stay with my grandmother, my mom's mom, and she kept a few other kids. And we would have nap time. And she would sit on a sofa. I can remember it was a real soft, mushy, kind of like what's popular now, like the cloud sofas. but it was like white velvet. It was in their living room, and she would get these little foam mat beds out for us, and they would have like little fitted sheets over them, and we'd all lay down and we could pick out a book, and she would read books to us, and then she'd cut the lights out and it was time for us to take a nap. I was gone. I loved nap time. I loved the whole stories. I loved the nap. And then the older kids would get to read sometimes too, and that was neat. So anyway, I have always loved naps. Even in my 20s, I took naps, but I never felt like I needed them like I did then. But now I'm going to go over with you. Now I don't feel like I have to do that. Like, I haven't taken a nap. I tried to take a nap yesterday and I couldn't. But I don't feel like I have to, but I still do like them because I love how I feel that night. I can get so much stuff done. Tummy. Oh gosh, this is something that makes me want to cry. My tummy and the middle section of my body just changing. My whole body shape changing. When they say, what body shape are you? Where do you gain weight? Your middle, your upper, your legs? Well, I had never been someone who gained a lot of weight in my midsection. I usually gained it probably in my butt and my thighs and everything. Well, all of a sudden, I was one of those people that gained it in my midsection and my butt and everywhere. And that is very common. But what made mine worse is that, along with having my eating issues, I was not only bloated, like holding weight on the outside. I was, when you're having like true IBS and food sensitivity issues, it's not just air you're filling up in your intestines, it's fluid. So your stomach gets full and it feels like you have a soccer ball in your stomach. I mean, it feels like you can't bend over. It is the weirdest feeling. So all in all, finding out a lot of this stuff has really helped me because I was so scared in the beginning. I went to doctor after scan, and finally we got to this. And so it has helped me not worry that something was wrong with me. I've had colonoscopies. I've had to take my bathroom in to be inspected to make sure I didn't have any E. coli or anything. I have had biopsies of my, during my colonoscopy to make sure I didn't have Crohn's or anything like that. So I've had all that stuff done. Okay, so I will go into a little bit more of this when I do my weight loss during menopause video. And the number 11 was just, it kind of goes with that, is you can't lose weight. Normally, you guys have been here with me. Normally, I could decide on Sunday that I was going to eat low carb on Monday, and by Friday, I would have lost 8 pounds. I mean, I was just somebody who could just drop weight, in a week, 2 weeks, and it got to the point where I couldn't do that. So I will get into that further when I do my weight loss video because, like I said, I don't know if I said in the beginning of this video, but I've lost 12 pounds now, and I feel really good. And so I'll tell you what I'm doing, but I will tell you this, it's not easy. It's just not easy, and I'll go into that further. But one thing, I'm going to end up here, but one thing I want to say is I really hate that menopause has such a negative, even with me, a negative feeling. It's like I hate that word. And the reason is because to me, it's just like it's not about the age. It's not about the age. You guys, I have loved my 40s so much. I'm going to do a video on that too. I feel so good mentally. I am so happy in my mind and in my heart. But what is weird about the menopause is all of these things happening and you don't know why, and you don't know, like I would get my blood tested and they would say everything was fine. I hate going to doctors. And so it was like, I'm kind of a black and white person. I don't like the gray area, and there's just a whole bunch of gray area. And we're all so different. And, I just never realized how much hormones do. And so I just want to say it's nature. It's nature. It's part of nature. a woman's body is such a miracle. To have a baby is the most miraculous thing ever to me, ever. And I feel so lucky to be a woman. I think being a woman is like the best thing ever. I love it, every part of it, every day. And with the good comes the not so good. But it's still part of being a woman. And, don't hate it. Let's just try to get through it. And there's different things we can do, and just really realize that you are very unique. Each person is very, very unique. So listen to your body and just use your common sense, and let's just try to get through it, because what I can say, I'm going to end on this really good note. Things have gotten so much better. Things have gotten so much better with me now that I'm kind of through it. And, a lot of it does stick around and stay, but a lot of it I have figured out, and then a lot of it isn't as bad. So until next time, I will talk about my weight loss and stuff. I'd love to lose a little bit more before I went through everything, because I'm not really at my goal weight, but I might, tackle that next week or so. Leave any questions you have down below. My jewelry today, I put on some, not too old, but some oldies but goodies, Dean Davidson. It's the Castle ring, and I believe this is the white Chalcedony. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I will put it down below. And I've even got the earrings on. And so that is it. I will put a picture of my outfit of the day at the end. It's one of those Reformation dresses I showed you months ago. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you real soon. Bye-bye.